Alright, Grinding Gear Games, you gotta stop holding out on us. Where is all the Path of Exile 2 info? You had it streaming out for a few weeks there. Every single day there were teasers, new little tidbits of information, big reveals. We had the mercenary, we had all those interviews. But for the last week, it has been almost extreme silence. Nothing. What might that mean? Could this mean that GGG is preparing for something big to drop? Well, I think so, and we do already know what the next thing is that they're going to reveal. That is the Witch as a class in Path of Exile 2, and minions and how they're attached to the Witch and how they're going to play in PoE 2. There's been a lot of discussion on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit, but you might miss something on here. You might see that there is no red GGG text on the screen, and that is because, Jonathan, man, you've been working. You've been working so hard. I know that's what you're doing. I know Path of Exile 2 is a monumental task, and you guys are doing your best to build it, but we need a little tidbit of information. Am I right? With all that being said, we know that GGG is revealing the Witch next, and there are only about 5 more months until we get our hands on Path of Exile 2. What does that mean for the upcoming month, everybody? Do you understand that all the classes from Path of Exile 1 besides the Witch also need to be touched on as well? We're going to learn about the Marauder. We're going to learn about the Duelist. We're going to see what the Templar looks like in Path of Exile 2, and the Shadow, and don't forget, the Ranger. That's a lot of content, especially because it seems like every class, of course, is unique in appearance, right? And it also will have an identity. And attached to each of those classes are essentially archetypes in Path of Exile 2. So not only do we get to see the class themselves, but we also get to see a whole new area of the game. With the Mercenary, we got to see crossbows and the crossbow skill gems. With the Druid, we got to see transformations and a variety of meta gem, like Cast on Shock. We know the Witch is going to be showcasing minions and all their capabilities in Path of Exile 2, but what exactly could be coming with these other classes? You know, the Duelist could showcase swords in Path of Exile 2. We haven't seen anything related to blades in PoE 2 at all. I think the Marauder is going to have axes. In the Path of Exile 2 trailer number 3, we see the Marauder chucking an axe at an enemy, and it rotates, spins in the air, and then comes back at him. That's dope. We haven't seen anything like that in Path of Exile 1. The Ranger will obviously be attached to bows and other sorts of ranged weapons. We saw that in the trailer. The Templar is going to be the poster child for the new flail weapon. That's quite exciting to see. And then the Shadow, it's probably going to be daggers and traps, which are a brand new type of weapon coming to Path of Exile 2. They're no longer skill gems, it seems. So those are the classes that we're going to get to see, right? But only a small segment of classes in Path of Exile. We'll also be seeing the Ascendancy classes too. There are 36 of them, and we've seen 0 of them. Of course, some Path of Exile 1 Ascendancy classes are probably going to make their way into Path of Exile 2, but not without significant changes. They have been adamant that they're not just going to port over content from Path of Exile 1 to Path of Exile 2, whether those are leagues, whether those are skill gems, whether those are classes and ascendancies. So we're going to see some significant changes if, say, the Chieftain makes its way into PoE 2, or the Berserker, or the Pathfinder. Pathfinder's probably not going to make it to Path of Exile 2 with all the changes to flasks. But then there's going to be a whole new set of Ascendancy classes as well, and they need to give the rundown on them as they've promised before Path of Exile 2 comes into closed beta on June 7th, 2024. And besides that, we have the endgame and how the endgame will work, itemization changes that they've talked about many times over that they're going to also investigate a little bit and showcase to us, probably get some of our input before it's finalized and in the game, and then a whole smacking of other random stuff that they haven't even shown us yet. It's going to be a content overload from now until June, I think, right? That silence is interesting. I feel like it's really building up to something. Maybe they're waiting for some other game to maybe release or have a big announcement, and then they're going to do what they did at ExileCon 2019 when there was another game announcement just before, and then blow everyone out of the water. That does make for some good YouTube video thumbnails once one game makes a big announcement and then another goes, well, hold my flask, I'm going to make an even bigger announcement today. With all that being said, Yes, I do expect more information to be coming out about Path of Exile 2 imminently, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. This is a choice the developers are consciously making, right? The GGG team have been quite silent for a long time before that huge influx of communication from Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts and Rory when they appeared on the podcast, right? Nobody really has talked to the Path of Exile community for a few years now, except for those addresses when a new league launches, or at ExileCon. This has been refreshing and wonderful to see, and as long as we stay positive and happy when they do communicate with us, I think it will continue. They're probably just quite busy working on Path of Exile 2, cleaning up the next Path of Exile 1 League, which will hit in about 2 months, maybe a little bit less, and getting ready for that big witch reveal. Now, my fellow exiles, we talk a lot in the comments. We talk on the Discord. We talk on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit. I'd really like to know, what reveal are you most excited for about Path of Exile 2 right now? We've already seen a great amount of the game, but what are you really looking forward to? Personally, I am most excited for the Ascendancy class reveals, right? Seeing how those will be in Path of Exile 2 and how much they will change your character and how wild they will get, right? These are really where the wild mechanics and deep diving mechanics can come into the game based on your choice of character class. And there are 36 of them, almost double what we have in Path of Exile 1. The balancing nightmare is going to be real. I would also really like to know, what are you most looking forward to about Path of Exile 2 itself? It's a question that somebody asked me very recently in an interview that you're probably going to see up on YouTube imminently, and I didn't have to think very long about it. I'm most excited for the new campaign. I love Path of Exile 1's story. I know that's a hot take and a lot of people either just skip through all the dialogue or don't pay attention to it, but I really do enjoy the storytelling there, and when I first played through it, I listened to every single NPC. I was immersed by the music, the models, everything that was going on, right? And this game doesn't even have cinematics, something else that we talked about recently. So really the new Path of Exile 2 campaign, with all its new characters, with all the new bosses, with whatever's going to happen, Acts 1 through 6, and we don't even know where Acts 5 and 6 are. Oh, I am so ready for it. And oof, it's gonna be tough streaming that, which I really do want to do because I'm probably going to go slow, listen to all the dialogue, read through all the lore, and really get immersed into Path of Exile 2's world on that first playthrough. So please let me and everyone else know in the comments what you are most looking forward to about Path of Exile 2. Additionally, if you have anything that you'd like me to cover on the channel, let me know. I do have quite a few ideas that I'm working on. I'm gonna get out the flashback series videos. I have the script almost done on the next one. I have a bunch of lore videos that I'm finally gonna finish the series on this channel. Can't let anything go unfinished, and plenty of Path of Exile 2 information, even if we don't get news. I have endless content, folks. Trust me. Anyways, that's all for this quick video. Tell 'em Moana, Exile.